God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first thing on the agenda is Stevens Way, preliminary look at proposed plan for 55+ development from Danny Gardner. Is Danny available? Is he present? Okay.
Yes. Hi, how are you?
Good. How do you want to do it, Laurie? You said?
Dan, if you can go to the front so that my residents right here can see what you're saying.
Sure, well, Paul's going to go over.
Well, Paul, I'm gonna ask you the same thing. If you go to the front.
Oh, okay.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you. No, this is who you wanna.
Set this on it.
I brought a couple extra plots for,
Isn't that start by announcing your name, please?
okay. Paul Grazowitz, Graz Engineering. Engineer for Danny Gardner. So as you mentioned, this proposed project is at up in Stevens Way, the end of Baker Lane. We came in here about, I don't know, a year ago, maybe longer. And at that time, we had, a preliminary concept. I think we showed the board maybe 50 or 60 units. Roadway design was a little different. Since then, we've gotten topography and, we've started doing some layout and design to the point that we can see what we have to do with our stormwater. We have to balance our stormwater so that we're not increasing the off-site runoff. So we've gone in, we've got that pretty much figured out now. We wanted to show the board where we're at. One of the issues that I believe it was Frank mentioned on our first meeting is a drainage issue on Baker Lane. So we want to make sure that our stormwater is not aggravating any situation that might be there. So basically this layout here has about 40 units on it. We've got some with garages, some without garages, and it's basically two dead-end roads. So coming in off of here's the existing Stephen Way right here. Here's your cul-de-sac bulb. And this road, basically, as it was kind of originally designed, there was going to be another road coming in this direction, never got built. They did put some of the catch basins and manholes and things up here. And what we're going to be doing is coming in, and then we'll have some units here. And then we'll go take a left, and we're going to have another road that's about 750 feet long. And as we mentioned, it's it's a 55 and over, and so they're going to be manufactured houses on slabs. As zoning allows these projects now, we have to provide a certain amount of open space. We're going to have public water, the town water and sewer servicing the project. That's it in a nutshell. Basically, the roads are more or less following existing grades.
And underground utilities, Paul, as well.
Yeah, we'll have underground electric and utilities.
First off, how long are these roads you're proposing here? I see you've got one.
One's 747 feet, this one here. And the other one is 347 feet.
Okay. Right off the bat, this is not gonna be accepted coming off of a unaccepted town road. And second of all, once it is an accepted town road, you're gonna need a second egress coming out of here, because that road's not gonna service as many residents, not even close. Not even close.
Well, something we did talk about the first time we came in,
Well, let me stop you there. You came in with a preliminary ideas. We can't act on preliminary plans. So this is your official submittal for, this is what we're really proposing.
right,
Okay, so like I just said, number one, Baker Lane's not gonna, we're not gonna allow this coming off of Baker Lane. There's way too much density going here for the road that's servicing it. And more importantly, you need to even think of doing half this amount of houses. You need a second way out of that. This, you're actually for a disaster if there's a fire or something like that. There's no way for anybody to go anywhere.
Interesting.
well, we do have access off of Cottage Lane. We're thinking of doing a secondary access down there if necessary.
It would have to be a road, but this needs to be addressed. And this is just a preliminary meeting.
Right.
It's not a public hearing, just so everybody knows. Because we will bring our peer review agent, which works for the town of Templeton, for the engineering, review of this. But when I seen these plans that Lori emailed us all last week, it's the neighborhood's not going to sustain as many homes on a lane. The roads, basically the road's maxed out at Stevens Way. So continuing a bunch of cul-de-sac bulbs on the end of a road that's already maxed out does nobody any good. The road's not going to handle that type of traffic. Yes.
Is that section of that road, an accepted town road? I had the impression that possibly that was on a list of roads that would not be plowed by the town.
Yeah, it was not accepted
The extension
beyond Baker Lane.
right?
Well, that's relevant to the situation right now, because if anything goes up here, it would be private roads. As far as where they're coming through right here, coming off that road. But the only trouble is you can't, if you come on a road the other end, it's still gonna be a private way. Off of Stevens Way and off of whatever road you can come out on, I don't know what the, what do you say, Cottage Lane, what's that? So I don't know, I'm just one member of the board, anybody else want to chime in on that? John? Oh, okay. No pressure, John.
I'm just trying to look it up.
So are the plans actually being submitted, or is it just a preliminary?
This is just
It's a
a,
preliminary.
Okay.
it's a working draft, so this is just it's a public meeting, but not a public hearing, correct? Where anybody can submit anything.
What is the distance between Route 2 and the?
Route 2 layouts right down here, so. Probably, well, I mean, our property basically abuts it down here.
Right.
You can actually see that.
And it kind of goes downhill there. Will there be need for a pumping station for sewerage?
No, this layout right here will accommodate gravity sewer. There doesn't have to be any pumps.
Have to check the sewer department.
Yeah, that's all part of the engineering part. Right now, this is just a preliminary, you guys, one at a time, please. This is the preliminary concept work.
Yeah, I know, I understand.
So the engineering part of it, the sewer and the water and the drainage and whatnot, is really for the engineer. Right now, it's a matter of under the regs and under a realistic plan. This, to me, is not realistic for the neighbor to try to put it.
One other thing, I actually went down there today and looked at it. As you're coming out Baker Road onto Route 2A, there's only about 100-foot visibility. To Gardner. not a really easy place to exit. And I would
There's
certainly,
definitely some
I
sightline
would
issues.
certainly have to agree that there needs to be a second exit for this project.
I'll open it up to anybody in the board, have any other questions or concerns right now? I'll open it to the audience, but please just, if, I don't want the same question asked more than once, so everybody just, if someone wants to ask a question, fine, everybody else just listen. It'll make things go a lot easier, okay? So does anybody have any questions for the applicant or concerns? Just announce your name, sir.
Yeah, sure. Ken Lazarus, 14 Baker Lane. Just want to know if, I don't know if we're considered abutters or if we could get notice when other meetings are coming up, if that's something that can happen, or if we just have to keep our eye on something.
Okay, hang on one second.
Butters notices happen when the actual hearing and it's actually submitted. So anyone who's in a butter would get a notice, and I'm sure you guys are gonna talk. Keep each other informed.
Well, yeah, you know, but, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But as far as the regular, it's just a regular agenda item for us tonight, so you just keep track of the town's website or whatever for our
Yeah.
agenda. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Anybody else in the audience?
I have a question. Genevieve Hackett, 28 Baker Lane. Is this going to affect our taxes as far as like a betterment tax or anything like that for them to get water and sewer up there?
They would pay their own water and sewer just like any other resident.
So there's no betterment tax though. That's what I'm asking.
That would be a question for the sewer department, water department.
Okay.
No effect.
But it wouldn't affect, it would not negatively affect anybody else's rate in town, that's what you're asking. Correct. Anybody else?
Would they, Mike Bellababa with 14 Stevens Way, would they be tying in on Baker Lane for the water and the sewage?
Yeah.
Which we plan on?
Yes.
Will it- Do we know that that will support that? 'Cause we had water breaks.
We do have, we did talk to the water department and got confirmation that, actually this was, he was looking at 62 units when he wrote the letter, and it said would be good. They didn't mention what the pressure was up there.
Look at. Go ahead. The wetlands, what have you? That'll all be part of the engineering review process when the time comes, is protecting the wetlands and the stormwater. It's all part of the permitting process, so it'll be addressed as it comes. Like right now, it's more conceptual. But that will get addressed through different avenues, conservation and engineering. Does that answer your question? Okay.
I'm curious to know with so
Hey,
many cars.
who are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. John Yvonne. I actually just moved into 18 Baker Lane. And I'm curious with so many cars planned, even with the second entrance, Baker Lane's a single road, a lane road right now. And I'm wondering if it would need to be a double lane road in order to accommodate that even with the second entrance.
Well, that will all get brought up under peer review, whatever avenue they go, as far as they want to continue to submit more plans. That's when the peer review agent will come in. Whitman and Bingham Associates have limits, so they're our peer review engineering company. And they'll assign one of their people to review the plans as it progresses.
Record 137 Baker Lane. I'm just wondering, I don't know if this is an appropriate question for this meeting, but
There's no other appropriate, well, maybe there is.
What is the access road going in, what is the setback to a property line have to be?
For an access road to actually go on a property line, just, you
Go
know.
right up to the property?
Yeah, an access road can. A structure has to stay so many feet away from the side boundaries, but an actual road can go against the boundary. Sir?
Sean Kenny, 25 Baker Lane. I actually live right on the corner there of Patriots Road and Baker Lane.
Yep.
And there will be any engineering in place to handle the amount of volume that's going to be taking place on the road if that goes through.
I mean, from a traffic standpoint?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I watch cars all day long trying to pull out right there, and
Yeah.
it's just, it really is dangerous. You wouldn't believe how many people slam on the brakes and just, I mean, trying to pull out right there, like someone said before, there's only 100 feet of visibility, and people fly on 2A right there.
So that'll definitely get taken into consideration when it probably go warrant a traffic study,
Mhm.
based on what they come back with for a plan to begin with, and it'll all come into
Because
play.
the volume of that road will just about triple if that goes through, and just having that amount of traffic going in and out of that road right there is just not gonna be safe the way it is, so definitely concerned with being on the corner right there.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Brian, you get it.
Judy McGuan, 37 Baker Lane. You had mentioned that if there's any new development back there, that it would be a private road. My question is, who would be maintaining a private road? Because right now on Stevens Way, supposedly Miles King owns that road and he has not maintained it in,
Good.
I don't know how
I'll
many.
explain the difference. Is that, well, first of all, that Miles King, his walkaway, that would have to be brought up to town spec in order for them to get frontage off of the road. But this property itself, regardless of what they do in there, Miles King, that road, Stevens Way eventually get accepted as a town road, where this type of development remains private.
Okay.
It's private ownership. So it's no different than a condo complex, something like that. It maintains their own ownership.
And they would be responsible.
They'd be responsible from, within their bounds of the property lines.
And what if they forego their responsibility to maintain it, like,
Then they have a lot of angry residents that don't pay their rent.
Alright.
That'd be my first line of
And
defense.
the attorney general.
What's that?
And the attorney general.
Yeah.
Because they would still own, the land, so all of that would be effectively it's a private driveway where the other is a road where you own land off of that road. So it's a little bit different in that situation.
so the people are gonna own the house but not own the land?
Correct.
And they'll have to pay a fee, I take it?
More than likely,
That's,
that's set up
they pay their
there.
rent,
All right, thank you.
Gary?
Here, Roberts, Stevens Way. I was curious, he said he was gonna make a second access onto Cottage Lane. Is there certain specs where there has to be a certain width on roads like that?
Well, once again, it would get brought up under the peer review, that'd be like,
Is there a set?
it's an engineering standpoint, it's engineering because there's a different definition as far as lengths, widths for like lanes, throughways, there's a lot goes into the labeling, which justifies the width. Same thing like with sidewalks, what have you. Because I know for a fact, I actually wrote from a citizen's petition, I'm not actually one that actually presented this to town as far as the actual bylaw to allow these. So I'm a little well versed on what is in this thing as far as what it's designed for. And the roads and the specs need to still fall under subdivision control laws of town. So somebody just can't say it's private putting 15-foot wide road. We don't allow 15-foot wide road.
Right.
So it'll be up to the engineers based on the amount of traffic and the number of homes within there, whether it ends up being a 20-foot or a 26-foot road, depends on how it gets labeled under the subdivision control laws. And the same thing with the construction. You can't just go in there and lay a gravel road and say, we're gonna start selling houses in it. It still needs to be built to town spec as far as the right amount of asphalt and the right amount of drainage and curbing and sidewalks and what have you.
Does Cottage Lane fall under the same thing as Baker Lane as far as width and able to handle traffic also?
It was, like I said, I can't instruct the applicant to do anything other than the fact that this is not going to be, this is unacceptable for the amount of homes, what it's trying to service, being that Stevens Way is already basically the end of the road, so to speak, and it's unfinished. So you can't pull frontage up an unfinished road for private to add more homes on. It's just not going to happen. We're trying to fix Stevens Way and not add to the problem as of right now. Yeah. It's currently zoned residential. It's residential now. The zoning, RA1, RA2 doesn't matter in this zone as long as it's residential, because it's basically a cluster development type of building. And that means so much has to be set aside for open space. And you need a minimum of 20 acres to even entertain the whole project as a whole. But it's not 1 acre per house like an RA1 zone would be. It's actually designed to be clustered so you can save land for open space. Anybody else? Dennis?
The open space for this development is how much?
The ratios are on the plan. I think.
Yeah.
25 acre parcel, 7.58 of development, which is equals 29.1%, and 18.42 of open space, which is 70.9%. I can tell it just by looking at the plan.
We know you can do that.
That'll-
You know you can do that now.
What I've been doing is way too long.
That'll be adjusted as we make adjustments, but yeah. It'll have to meet. It has to meet the open space.
Can I just ask Genevieve Hackett again? How many units exactly are you thinking put in? Because I heard a bunch of different numbers. I'm not sure.
This plan has 40.
Okay.
Was this the lesser of the two? You had two conceptuals.
Yeah, we had two conceptual before. One had 50 something and one had 30 something on it.
I thought it was like 57, it's 37.
Okay, 35, 37,
We've had-
40,
Yeah, we've had so many.
52, and 62. So
I think we showed you guys the 30 something and 50 something last time.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Again, John Yvonne again, might be a silly question. Are we expecting any increases to the like use of emergency services because it is a 55+ community?
Well, there isn't any development in town. I mean, it's no matter what you do. I mean, keep in mind too, we're here to help plan. That's the whole idea of the planning board. I mean, pretty much everybody's house was built in a subdivision at one time or another in this town. Well, not everyone, but more and more, so to speak. So you have to kind of look at it as in what's fair for all, not just some, you know. I myself refuse to have people move into town and say, okay, no more development, but they're in one of the new subdivisions with the person, their neighbor had the same argument, so. Just want clean development, that's all.
And so you said, sorry, me again.
Stop waving at me.
You said for the water table, I'm very concerned about that. I don't want to end up with a problem in my basement. Stevens Way has already created a problem in the yard and I don't want it to move into my house, obviously. So did you say that there was a plan in place to avoid that, or?
Well, we have to meet stormwater management guidelines, which talk about rates of runoff, you know, in the 2 and the 10 and the 100-year storms. And then we have to put a certain amount of water back in the ground. And then we have to treat the stormwater to a certain quality standard. So as far as the groundwater table goes, the groundwater table is really not going to change. It's going to stay the same. But the the stormwater, the runoff from the stormwater and the quality of it, that's what we have to address.
Because years past, when you got a lot of rain, you know, the common practice was just to pitch it and send it to a catch basin and send it down the pipe as fast as it could go.
Right.
But that's depleting our water tables as a whole. And so now the engineering last 15, maybe 20 years now has been to capture the water, put it into these ponds and slowly release it back into the ground. And so it does, you would know the difference on the runoff, whether you had a ½ inch of rain or 4 inches of rain, because it's only going to get released so fast out of a smaller pipe. That's what these ponds are all about. They hold the water well, releases at a controlled rate versus just washing down and wiping your property out, whatever.
I don't know that they did that with Stevens Way, respectfully, only because when it rains, there's a pool, and when it's not done raining, the pool goes away.
That was, and I'm not going to defend the development up there.
No,
I'm saying,
no.
or the developer for that matter, but
Yeah,
it was different engineering practices at that time
Yeah.
too. So
okay,
She's got the house that her previous owner was the one that sued Miles King because it flooded out that bit.
So you're
Particular
on,
house.
you're on Baker Lane, right
I'm on
before,
Baker Lane, yeah.
but you right before where Stevens Lane
Yeah, on
starts.
the last legal house.
On the right?
Yeah,
On the left.
on the left,
left, okay.
the yellow house. whatever it's called.
That's what's got rid of.
The last legal house, let's get
Yeah.
that clear. everybody. Sir,
So all the drainage from Stevens Way actually runs through private property, which abuts her backyard.
Right.
So that private property is mine. There's a big culvert in my backyard. And I've actually got to go out there and clean it out so that they don't get flooded too bad and that the water flows a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the plans are for drainage, but what's there now is horrible,
yeah, no, I'm
you know?
well up to speed on the drainage issues up there, just from years past dealing with the selectmen and everybody trying to fix what's wrong up there. But right now, we're getting ahead, I mean, I hear your concerns, but we're getting to the engineering part, and right now, they need to come back with a full design, and then said that our engineer, town's engineer will look at it, and all those will be taken into consideration. And not just looked at, but actually commented on or refused, or what have you. That's not a, it's a long process. Okay, any other comments directed to the board members, and we didn't less? Okay. Mr. Grass, anything to add?
No, that's it.
Thanks for coming in. Sorry to reading your parade, no pun intended, but it's just a little bit much for what you get to offer, what we have to offer.
This is a record.
I have one question. What would you like to see up there on the property? Like how many units?
Just a more, I can't, I'm not, it's an engineering nightmare up here, is basically what it is, so. and so
I'm
you're
willing to
talking-
fix that.
No, what I'm saying is that I'd almost, I'd recommend a traffic study up there first and find out what the road's leading in. Because I think the traffic study is gonna come up that the roads are very much maxed out and the sightlines need to be adjusted prior to anything up there. And I would have a third party do it, and I'll say, I don't trust you, and I don't trust anybody. But
No, I
would
agree.
go- I would go through Whitman and Bingham, the peer review pages, have them set up with their third party and do a traffic study
Sure.
for both those roads, because then you will know
What it can handle, what it
what
can't.
can or cannot handle, or can at all,
Well, maybe they have to put in a traffic light or something like that.
anything. If they have to widen both, I mean,
Widen
I
it.
can't answer, I don't know what that's the whole idea of having a third party do it, but
Sure.
that's just my. If you're gonna spend money, I'd spend it with a traffic study, because rather than spending any money first, have a traffic study shut you down.
No, I agree. 100%.
So,
Well, thank you very much.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
okay, so anybody, you wanna hang around for a real planning board boring stuff, you're more than welcome to.
Very entertaining.
I'll give you a couple minutes to exit the room so we can finish our meeting.
Thank
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys.
We got a corner coming to the back. Coming down the hill, three huge side tracks. Five blocks of vision. You have to get out, the line. Stick your nose out there and see out the road. And believe me, they come down that road. That's why you guys are so- That's what I said. You got 200 times a day.
All right,
up and
let's
down
go
that
number
road.
3,
They're trying to get out,
And
and they're over 55.
Yeah.
Oh, you are.
He went up there and I was like,
What do you want now?
at least somebody went up there and see how hard it is.
On A&R,
Yeah.
partially in Gardner, partially in Templeton. Yes.
That's the man. Bruce, Mike, you guys want it?
Yes, sir.
You guys both this one?
I'll send you.
Right, that's
Two. Thank you.
6 lots.
I'll keep you posted.
Where are we? What's our Patriots Road?
This
Right
last,
across from Baker's.
right across from Baker's Lane.
Oh, where that house was, that, I know.
Yeah, these houses are from the aerial we had done.
You don't even, just got it right for travel time.
This must be the line down.
What's that big front?
That's that sewer and water, former road, sewer and water.
So,
That's on Baker Lane.
All fields on Cottage
I thought it was- Coming from somebody right across.
That's right.
And all this time where I thought we lived on the other side of the track, said it was a ball field.
this,
Right,
no,
Are we gonna?
Riverbank over here, this
Good.
is the road.
Yeah, I just have some questions
The right
regarding
way
a
we
couple
have-
of lots. I'm just trying to understand.
Right, Dennis?
The 10643 and the 7230, are those separate? Is it 106 in Gardner and 72 in Templeton?
No, the 4 lots on the east side, all of their frontage is in Gardner.
And they have a different
So
requirement.
they have a 100-foot minimum. We enumerated that over there. The lots are sized to meet Templeton requirements.
Right, but the frontage.
But the frontage, at least for those that are totally all in Gardner, are the.
And you haven't visited Gavin, he's it, right?
No, we've got a place on the,
Agenda.
we're gonna have to get it signed by them also.
Okay. So right now,
What's
lots
the-
at play, there's 6 lots.
So, but what lots are ours?
Dublin?
Well, you're responsible for all of the lines that are in Templeton, so.
Right.
Yeah, we'd be responsible for all of them. Beyond this, the backside of this line.
So it's interesting that the frontage requirements, you have to have vital access, which would include the frontage.
I don't know how that's gonna work.
Most towns
How are we gonna tax that?
That's not our
Well,
concern.
That's
not our
problem.
The houses-
Why bring that up?
The houses are gonna be built in Templeton, because that's where you can see that it's a very slim
It is, yeah.
line where the town line just really cuts off the front on those 4 lots, so. It's really, that building would have to be in
Yeah.
Templeton.
These here.
They'll all be water and sewer too.
So I actually asked Paul the question, if the house is being built in Templeton, but the frontage is in Gardner. I'm just worried that when it goes to the building commissioner for permitting, what his take is gonna be on it.
It's basically whatever town the house is built in, that's the
That's what
jurisdiction that
I'm-
they go through.
that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
But houses in Templeton require 150 foot frontage.
Yeah, yeah, right.
That was my question. I
mean, I get why it's done, because
obviously it maximizes the number of lots, but
Yeah. If the house is gonna be, yeah.
Oh, Gavin requires 100?
Yeah, 100,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
We require 150.
right, but that frontage is not in Templeton.
The house is gonna be the factor.
So
which
you're
is-
gonna have the house lot 100, but.
But the house in the street.
It'll be all the way back. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
you're gonna have 100, and then you're gonna do what, like that?
Actually, only one of them gets wider, I believe. You have a lot width through the actual house, to the front of the house?
There is something in there that
It's set
pertains to that.
I didn't see that.
Is it, what was it called? What was it called?
Minimum lot width, like through the front of the house, or to the front of the house?
I mean, setback?
No,
No, just like we have 150 foot frontage, it has to be 150 foot frontage on a town road.
Is it?
But, except on
on
a
separate-
way,
You can go
yeah,
down there,
separate
you
way.
can go.
once you hit.
Right, I just asked them because I didn't see in your regular, some towns have regulation on lot width and maintaining
50
a
feet.
lot width.
You can't go less than
Oh,
50.
way, yeah.
You can't go less than 50 feet on a lot with any, if you do it, you know, walk chop lot, can't go any narrower than 50 feet.
Well, I mean, if
But
you-
then
I
the
mean, if you
houses
wanna
have to be,
consult with the,
there has to be a
building
15,
inspector.
I'm also, he's also the zoning enforcement
Yeah.
officer.
there has to be a 15-foot setback from.
I didn't have time.
Okay, I wasn't, no, I just wasn't sure if you would.
I
It
was like really like-
I was just wondering.
So how many lot,
You have 5 lots of road.
technically 2 lots, lot 5 and lot 6 are within Templeton completely, correct?
Let's
5
see,
and 6,
lot-
yes.
5 and 6.
So lot 5
Yeah,
and
looks like
6
they are.
That's
and
50.
the remainder are in Templeton.
Right, and they all have sufficient frontage.
Yeah.
But we can't,
These, if you're building houses on here, there has to be a 15-foot side lot setback. We have a house.
But there's plenty of room for that.
listen, we're making lots, we're not placing houses, and that's the ZBA say, if they have a problem with that. We're not, this has nothing to do with replacing a house. There's nothing to do with it, we're looking at lots right now, that's all,
Okay.
that's all we're trying to do is looking at
Figure just-
lots.
Okay,
Don't worry about somebody putting a house in
The
there,
setbacks are on
it
there.
has nothing to do with us, where they place a
all
house,
right, you're right.
so,
Okay,
I know I'm right.
you're right.
But just don't bring it up because it's not a deciding factor in whether the plan gets accepted or not gets accepted.
He's got 4 of them there.
The 4 would turn into 3 if, go to 150.
Yeah.
I think, yeah,
I think you have to
I
do
mean, I
that.
think we might need to get
I think you have to lose a
an
lot.
opinion, a legal opinion, but I think you have to.
Well, no, because I wouldn't, well,
It's pretty
you paying for this one, John?
Nope.
Lori. Lori, no, I mean, the frontage part is pretty simple. It's 150 in Templeton, regardless if we're gonna share it on the backside of Gardner's lot line. So I would myself personally think that and bring it up to your client, whoever it may be. But I think the best way versus going to ZBA, which seems to be a lot of work, because it's common ownership, so that means you can make them comply. So I would say lose a lot, get 150 frontage on each lot, and then maybe go to Gardner first, have them sign off on the front, and it's a no-brainer for us signing off on the back.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Everybody agree?
I agree.
Just for that reason. I mean, because there's no way for us to partially endorse this plan. It's with 2 lots, 5 and 6, and 5 and 6 are fine.
No, it's,
You know,
yeah,
it's all or none.
you'd be
So.
signing for everything in Templeton.
We have another meeting on the 28th.
Yeah.
I can also get an opinion from Richard if you would like, as zoning enforcement officer.
Well, the thing is, right now, it's the frontage, we're taxed with serving the public at 150 frontage. Regardless of what side of the line is, it's not 150 frontage. Because even though it's a Templeton boundary line, there is certain, but I know,
You better make the 1 acre no problem.
I know that jurisdictional wise, they always do that when you split lot like that, is that wherever the house is gonna be built, that's the jurisdiction of everything, so to speak. But we still need the frontage. Otherwise, it's a ZBA mess, and it's 2 towns, and trust me, it's easy to lose a lot. That could be kind of convoluted.
Be interesting what Gardner's gonna say.
What's that?
Well, they would sign it because
Right.
they only have 100-foot frontage.
Yeah.
Okay, so, we can do,
All right, well,
hang on, guys. No, let's just keep moving. We have to act on this within 21 days. So if you don't come back, we're gonna deny it. Because otherwise you get it by constructive approval, which only happened once in this board, and we actually was successful at appealing the constructive approval, and we won. But, so we need to keep the plans, keep everything here, because we need it on file. And so if you can get back here within 21 days, we can sign the plan off, then we can, but until then, we don't need to deny this for any reason, other than the fact that we're gonna hold on to it, but we have to within 21 days.
So we have to be sure to meet on the 28th.
Okay. Cycle. You can take your Mylar back. No, you can't. That's all that's not right.
We having a good night tonight. No.
Some nights are, yeah, better and worse than others.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Carryover from meeting of July 13th. It's been that long. Where have you guys been? I said that with humor.
So did I. Maybe a little malice.
It should come back to stretch my wings out. I blame it on COVID. I blame everything on COVID. Everybody else is.
That's what everybody else is doing, so feel free. So you have a big pile of minutes there that will catch us up. And I think what you're gonna have to do is with each page, you're gonna have to look at who was at the meeting, and those are the voting parties.
Right.
Please.
Exactly.
Actually, I was.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from July 13th.
Okay, motion's been made to approve the minutes of July 13th. Wait here a second.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from 11/10/2020.
God, it's right.
Second.
Made and seconded for 11/10/2020. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I mean. abstained?
Just you, because you were,
Later?
nope, you were missing. MIA.
I was in my-
So you should abstain anyways.
So we,
I am checking off the people who voted on each one,
Okay.
so we're keeping
Yeah, you're
track.
good.
We're
Okay.
good.
okay, perfect. I'll entertain a motion for January 26, 2021.
So moved.
Second,
Question, I'll second.
all right, second. Okay, now discussion, John?
12620 it says.
No.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, typo, so we will correct that to 21.
126, 21?
Says 20.
By the year.
On the actual minutes.
Oh, okay.
At the top.
So I think we just need to make a motion to approve them with that correction.
Okay. All right, motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Yep.
Okay. All right, entertain a motion for February 23rd, 2021.
So moved.
Second and third, okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay, that's a 4. A 4, yeah. All right, motion to accept minutes for 3/23/21,
So moved.
I'll second.
made and seconded, discussion. Seeing none, all in favor? Yep. Maybe a 4, okay. Motion to accept minutes for 4/27/21.
So moved.
I'll second again.
And second, discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept minutes for 6/8/2021.
So moved.
I'll make a motion to accept 6/28, 21 minutes.
Okay, Charlie, second that?
Second.
Okay.
Yep,
All
that's
right,
fine.
discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Abstain.
All right, Mike finally came up. That's the
Yeah.
first meeting. And last but not least, motion to accept minutes for 6/22/21.
So moved.
Second.
Second, motion made in second, discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
So now.
Okay, sign permit for Deer Ridge,
So
B.
we have the final permit that never got signed because of COVID.
Deer Ridge meeting.
Druin's place, this is.
Druin.
Okay. Oh, okay. Is it board signature or myself signature? What is it?
It's all of you.
I'm keeping this pen, Larry. It's a nice smooth writer. If your desk looks like somebody shuffled through it because they did, and I realized the pens were behind your desk.
Oh, okay, sure. Okay, I'm just gonna. Type everything after. What I have
Oh,
in front of
registry.
you, this is the signature card that goes to the Worcester Registry of Deeds, and it needs to be updated again. So Frank, if I could get your signature there.
Dennis, make sure you sign on top of your name. Go for the date, okay? I'm not there yet. He signed with Mylar one time, a year in advance. Like I had to send the whole thing. Remember that? It was like
No,
2019.
You're not gonna have a lot,
2020.
you live that
We're
way.
like, did you just buy a DeLorean or something? We were around the parking lot, see what he was driving.
You want black? Don't steal that.
Okay, is this for registry, right?
Yep.
So, legible. So,
Well, it needs to be the way you normally sign. Are they gonna call me and say?
say who's Mr. Scribbles? So, Bruce, did you get,
Sworn in?
not sworn in, but, you, thanks for stepping up, because you came on a vote after the fact, right, after the meetings, after the, vote?
Yeah.
Okay, you both did, right?
I was in the election.
You were in
To
the
help on the
election.
ballot.
So we usually have a pretty good attendance record, if I'm speaking for myself, but pre-COVID, and nothing going on. No, don't you roll your eyes over there, I see it.
You felt that?
In
huh?
years past. I worked straight for 19 years, I think I take a year off. Okay. So my volunteer,
was on.
for my overpaid position as planning board chairman. What's that?
I was in attendance in all those minutes.
One or two.
Dennis was too, I think. And Frank.
I'm gonna catch you guys up on a few other things.
Okay.
Okay?
Lori has to call me to remind me about 2 minutes before the meeting.
All right.
Those. Matters where?
Name anyways.
Nope, just pick a line.
And I hope you, I mean, like I said, I'd expressed my, on that. Fiasco there, I expressed my own opinion based on what I see, so. I hope you guys felt the same or
Looked pretty tight.
did on that. Huh?
It looked
Yeah.
like there was gonna be some.
It's also being dumped into a very
Very
congested.
troubled
I'm
area.
not,
up there.
I'm not
think it
familiar
can
with
end
the
up that
width
way.
of Baker Lane, but it looked like.
It's a very troubled area up there,
Yeah.
and that's what's,
Yeah, just.
You know, Kurt, you go to Gardner, you get by Baker's Lane, it's really a blind spot, right?
oh, I know. Well, like I said, that's all gonna come out in the traffic study and so on and so forth.
Any idea where that comes out on?
And John, you were actually.
Cottage Lane?
It's Rumbury South, so it's gonna be up pretty far.
Is there?
If you have
one
those-
there for-
I think you'd be signing.
I have no idea.
You did, you're right.
It's kind of interesting, they didn't deal with that traffic issue when that whole thing came about initially, if there's that much of an issue with that.
Right, are we, hey, one second, Bruce, are we all set other than that? Or you said you wanted to go?
I'm just catching up on some paperwork from missing signatures, but otherwise, I believe your agenda was.
Complete, yeah, it's
satisfied.
complete. Can we, entertain a motion to adjourn?
You can.
Because now we're just doing housekeeping on signing some things.
So move.
All right, all in favor of adjourning?
I